Good evening and welcome to the Maple Plains City Council Wellhead Protection Plan public hearing. It's April 14th at 6:45 p.m. and I call the meeting to order. Looking for a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Francis.
Second.
Second by DeLuca. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Would you like to do the presentation after we open the public hearing or before we open it?
So this evening, there won't be a formal presentation. We're primarily here to entertain any questions and then listen to public comment, should there be any, and then also just talk through some of the comments we've received, courtesy comments from our Department of Health colleagues, and talk through next steps.
Thank you for that update. With that, then I'm looking for a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Burek,
Second.
second by Francis. All in favor of opening the public hearing?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The public hearing is open at 6:47. Is there anyone here tonight to speak? Anyone here tonight to speak? And the third and final time. Anyone here tonight to speak? All right, with that, looking for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Moved by DeLuca,
Second.
second by Francis. All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The public hearing is closed at 6:47 p.m. All right, at this time, I will turn it over to staff. Angie first.
All right, good evening, everyone. Angie Smith with Bolton and Mink, environmental planner, who's been working with you all throughout this wellhead protection plan process. Also with us this evening is Abby Shea, who is a planner with the Minnesota Department of Health. And she very thankfully provided a bunch of good comments on the draft wellhead protection plan that we will be making updates on and incorporating pretty much most of those comments so that we ensure a very smooth process as it goes through the state review period. So for tonight, as mentioned, there is no formal presentation on this. We did provide that at our last council meeting to go through the draft agenda, or excuse me, the draft plan. And really what I wanted to do tonight is review just a few of the comments that Abby provided, entertain any questions from you all about next steps in the process, and then do an overview of the schedule that we're anticipating for the final steps. So feel free to stop me as I just walk through a few of the comments. I'm not going to hit everything, but the comments that were provided by our MDH colleague were included in your public hearing packet this evening. Some of the things that I do want to reference, really just looking at the primary required changes that are outlined on the first page of that document, those all will be incorporated and ensure that we get a smooth process for the state level review. Some of the primary things, and we will work with staff on these updates, are within the plan of action. So a lot of the plan of action items were outlined as needed or ongoing, and we're just going to work through some of those with staff and identify specific timeframes over the next 10 years of when those specific action items will come into play. So that'll just refine the action plan a little bit further and ensure that we have a really good path forward on the next 10 years. The other piece that we're going to do is within the contingency plan. So this was in lieu of a DNR approved water supply plan. And there's just a few pieces of information that we're missing. We'll work closely with staff to get that information updated. So it's everything from a public health official to identify as well as any additional information like the school superintendent. You know, there's just some specific contact information we want to pull into that. But the required pieces are also outlined in here. So specifically the public health and medical contact information, prioritization rank on the water uses, things like that. So we'll make sure all that is updated and in front of you for your next review and approval to submit it for the state review process. I'm going to move into the recommended updates and changes that were outlined in the comments. So again, all of these are very straightforward to me, so I have no issues or concerns getting this information updated. And if there were any questions that you all have as you reviewed them, please don't hesitate to ask.
And Angie. I just wanted to clarify to members of the council, the plan looks really great. I just decided that, this is my opportunity to do a really thorough review, because when it comes to me for final review, it's just a approve or disapprove. And aside from a couple little things on that first page, it's a no-brainer approval, but just to improve the plan and have it be as best as it can. This was a good time for me to just interject those and make sure to set you guys up for success for the next 10 years. So it still looks really great. I just wanted to be kind of specific in some of my comments, so.
Helpful. And this process has worked very well for other wellhead protection plans we've worked on with our colleagues at Department of Health, where they provide this review during the local government unit review period, and then we can ensure that it is the best plan for the city of Maple Plain moving forward. A few other things that I just wanted to quickly mention, again, all very straightforward, no issues or concerns. There are a few specific questions. Again, we'll work with staff to ensure that we have that information incorporated, and I'll ensure that I get with both Jacob and Kevin on that, as well as Matt. I guess the one question that just comes up immediately is on the MinWarn. That was a reference, and just ensuring if Maple Plain is a member of that organization or how that works. So I'll follow up with you all after this, and we'll ensure that we have another update for the next council meeting when you look at this and approve it.
And I can provide information for a contact from there if you need to get a hold of someone.
Appreciate that. The only other thing I had for this evening is to confirm with council members, so within the contingency plan right now, we have listed your phone numbers because it identifies and requires the mayor and council members' information in this document. So I just wanted to confirm if you would prefer to have your phone numbers directly, or if you would prefer to have them come through the city, or if there's a requirement for that in the contingency plan.
So there is not a specific requirement, and I will say that this plan in its entirety, we don't consider, from our perspective, as fully public information. You are welcome to treat it as public information, but because the plan includes the specific locations of your wells, we would not share this plan without the city's approval. So if the watershed requested it, I would check in with Jacob or Kevin and say, are you okay with me sharing this with the watershed? We wouldn't just put it out there. So you can post a redacted version on your website if you'd like. Just that's an option so that your phone numbers are available for staff in the plan, but then are not on the website.
So just something for consideration as we finish up and make updates on the contingency plan and the plan itself.
Angie, are you comfortable with us getting back, each of us letting staff know, and then they can
Absolutely.
let you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Just quickly looking at my notes again. Okay, I think that is all I wanted to briefly go over with you this evening regarding the comments we received from Department of Health. But if you all have any questions that we can entertain or Abby can help clarify, if not, I'll go into the next steps and the timeline for follow-on.
Any questions? All right, let's continue
Okay.
on.
Very good. So what we're looking at doing is making these updates and changes between now and the 22nd. And I believe the 22nd will be when the next council packet is due, but I'll confirm that with Kevin and make sure that we meet that timeline. And then this would come to you, the final draft version of the Wellhead Protection Plan would come to you all for review and final approval at your April 29th meeting. So that would be the next path. And then if approved that night, we would then turn it around and submit it to Department of Health for the 90-day agency review period. It is very likely that it could be faster than 90 days, but minimum of 60 days for the other state agencies to also review this document. And then after that period, we are anticipating approval notice back to the city no later than August 5th if we do get this submitted by May 5th. So that's our next hard date. And then we are well in advance of the October 1 deadline for having this plan completed and ready to go for implementation. So those are the key next steps for moving forward. Abby, anything to add on that piece?
Nope, nothing to add. I wouldn't expect anything from the other state agencies to hold you up, so I foresee being able to get this approved within 60 days of it being on my desk. So,
Excellent. So any questions or thoughts about that, those next steps in the schedule? Okay, that's all I have for you this evening then. If you all do have any additional comments and can relay that information to staff, we'll be sure to get those updated and included as well. And have this the best document to protect the city's water source moving forward.
Thank you. We appreciate the work that both Bolton Mink and the state and that everyone has done to make this happen and to keep us on time and on track with the deadlines. And we will each follow up with staff regarding our phone numbers, and they will get back to you with that.
Fantastic. Thank you for your time this evening.
Any other questions or discussion or anything else this evening from anyone on council? Okay, seeing none, looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Burek,
Second.
second by DeLuca. All in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. The meeting is adjourned at, I can't see far, at 6:56.